Hey, Bevan Bird here. Let's continue the art show that we were just doing for fun on the fly. And I've got the Moldau, Smetana Vltava. You can just Google the Moldau and listen to it if you'd like on YouTube. I'm playing that in the background of my headphones. It's flowing, it's like a river. I got a vision while I was listening to it before, and created this. I'll go and find it. Yeah, right. Okay, so I put Luma and Thistle in a bubble. That's Luma. This is of course the same Luma. Okay, so Luma and Thistle in a bubble on a pillar, right? This is where they're sitting there. They're getting ready to go on an intergalactic adventure. And so this the character of course evolved from before and whatever. This is just the beginning where I started to do that, but I got the idea for that while listening to this music. These are actually in Midjourney version 8. This is from that last art show when I did a subtle variation. I think it's subtle, not strong, right? We did that before. So it's kind of interesting what we got here. But like, why do they look like that? And why are they so much different if it's a subtle variation? Well, there's also that image prompt still part of the prompt. So it makes me think, let's go back to what this is a variation of here. That's what we did. We clicked subtle there, I think, right there, subtle variation. So let's do a subtle remix instead, right? Which means we can change the prompt. And all I'm doing is removing that image prompt. But it says here version 6.1. So did it really use version 8 here? Or did it use, because it says, right, it says this right there. So it's like telling me it was done with version 8. But why? Inside the prompt, um, it said that other version, but it doesn't say it here. We don't see that, and this seems to imply that it used version 8. Anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, now this, when I've taken the image prompt out, notice, like, are these really from the same one? I think it's because it's version 8, we got so much of a difference. Because here with a subtle variation, you can see how they're similar and there's not a lot of difference in them from what we started with there, right? That's what you would expect normally with a subtle variation. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's just interesting. Now, if you wanted to blend a couple together, we could like use this one and one of these. And which style do you want to use? Or just leave it up to chance? Let's use that. Right, now this prompt, should we use the same prompt we were using already for what we're making here, which is this or this? Well, sure, right, sure. Okay, it's that easy. So we just start to blend a couple things together there like that. But let's do an art show instead of creating art. So what shall we do? Well, let's start a new randomization. Instead of just continuing from what we were looking at last time, and we're not going to do the trace of the that white-haired woman character. I already showed you how that originated. All we're going to do is start to check out some new things. So we'll start with just a random image. Now that's actually a photo or a clip from one. I believe it's just a photo and it's of moss and a little bit of lichen, um, which is in my moss garden in a place where I no longer live. It's no longer relevant. Although it does exist in my path, right? In my journey, it's something that happened. That's a toucan. It's a kind of jungle painting. There's a river right next to him too. It's done with a palette knife. It's yeah, a palette knife oil painting. It's all done by AI too. It's Midjourney. All right. Well, we saw this already. But the other one, this is the one with that weird thing there. The other one is the one I actually use. Anyway, it's a clip from a certain thing, and we looked at the thing like that or whatever, like that, what's similar. Now, in an earlier one, in a playful creation session recently, I had something like this because I remember that day that I created this. I combined many things together, ice cube, neon lights, orange tree or whatever, blossoms. I don't know. And the ocean. I don't know what I did. I combined different concepts together in one, and maybe sacred geometry or something. I don't know, in one image. Well, in that playful creation session recently, I brought in a hummingbird from one of those things, and we combined it with a portal, and you can see that it's right here because this is the latest stuff that we had, and that was on that day, obviously, June 29th. And you can see some of what we ended up with at the end of that creation session there. See, apparently I'm able to trace back through those. And so this one, see, it's an imagine. I got this little clip of a little kind of portal hanging in the sky with a little waterfall. Oh, and this other clip from a different one, as I said, that's what reminded me. That's why we brought it up. See the connection? So that was it's from a different one. Actually, it's something we made that day, right? June 29th. You can see it all in that session. It's almost 2 hours. Well, it's under 2 hours. But in it, we created something. We made it in the style of the Creative Haven, one of the first canonical styles of the Creative Haven. Put that in there. We made this new one as a new hummingbird and then used that. And that's what these things evolved from. So this one turned into that, which became this, which became that. And then oh, well, that's it. So I just showed you a trace, right? I traced something back live and then I played it forward chronologically for you. Okay, there's a little throwback thingy. Okay, I wonder what happened because remember we combined this with the other one. So I wonder what really happened with that. Plus you can just vary it if you like. Why don't we change it into another style? Why don't we use the style that I referenced? Actually, I'll do another one here. That's a Creative Haven too. But I'm going to go right back to this earlier canonical, one of the earliest, uh, when it was just forming. So it's before these ones, see? So and that's the one before like the woman or young woman or girl character is in there. This one is just before that. But going back, yeah, you can see early Creative Havens there from like July 20th, 2025. So you can see some here. But going back to the beginning, to the first canonical Creative Haven style, it's right there. And you can see Luma right next to it. But then there's earlier Lumas, right? If we go back, which we could do if you want. Okay, so I just did a strong remix. It's like a variation, but remix means you can change the prompt, and I changed the style. I also probably removed the image prompt from it. If I didn't, it will be quite different, but I did, right? And that's exactly what I did. Now here, this is actually the Infinite Playground. It's just a clip from it, though. It's not the entire piece, but it is something for an infinite playground, which is the world, right? The earth. It's an infinite playground. And this image right here, which is one of the first, let's say good or whatever, usable or something that we can evolve from, images depicting the infinite playground. It is the one which over here, this part that I'm indicating, is where I clip from it the first glyphs, glyph rain. So glyphs raining down in the sky. That's where it came from this image. And this is just a clip from the full one, which is all good. We're using it as a style reference here. Okay, so this is where we just did this. This is new in our art show we're doing today, right? We mixed this. You saw me do it. So here's what we get. Now that thing almost looks like a character, and it could be. You know how when I showed you the art, if you looked at the part one, right, the video from right before this, you saw a robot kind of character, right? Well, that came from a building that looked like it could be a robot. Well, we could do the same here. Do you want to use that as the style still? Whatever, doesn't matter. We can. That's one way. The other way would be make this the style. You could have both, or you could have just that one, or whatever you want. Okay, so let's now say that it's a robot instead of like a house, and we'll see it morph. See right here? So I'm changing the word house to robot, but then it still has these domes and it says architecture and stuff. is fine, right? Whatever. Now it does say house there. Let's just change that to robot, and that's how simple we kept it. Now, to not throw away the work, I'll copy and paste the prompt. Boom, boom. Okay, so now if I do that again, I can just select all, paste, and now I've replaced the same thing, robot, right? Like back in 2009, I felt like a robot, but I'm not anymore. Here we go, right? Creative, infinite creative potential, activate. There. Okay, so I just initiated those new creations. Look at that. So one thing is a spark, any authentic expression is a seed, can be, of course, a seed of infinite creation. Like you might be like curious and go into one of these things, expand it. I showed you in the last one where we looked into something, we went through it into another world. We used each window as a portal, right? We traveled through time, we explored other possible worlds and stuff. Look at this. Like, what's going to happen if you zoom in to this little part, right? Well, that's something you could do. We'll leave it as an opening for future sparks instead of actually doing it right now. That's what I'm going to do this time. Normally I wouldn't do that, but that's what I'm doing. So I'm just showing you. Okay, so I clipped out that little part, right? Okay, sweet. So let's go uh let's go up here to today. Whatever it is. Yeah, I'm just gonna freaking navigate to it. I'll just do it the hard way. Okay, so we'll just go and put the name of that just so we know that it did come from this one here. Boom. Okay, we've just planted a seed for the future rather than actually using it right now. Okay, now we did a few experiments. We can see from this, you have to compare what you did and what came out to learn from it, right? But let's just look at them for fun. So I know that here it's based on a Creative Haven art style, but it's actually this one, not that first canonical one. But this is something that evolved out of the earlier thing, right? This thing resulted from earlier curation. And it makes me want to develop Luma's house further. But I've got two tracks of that now because I had Luma's house, in the past that I was doing, and I had quite ambitious plans, and things changed and whatever. And then at a later time, I played with something with that and developed it, and it was pretty cool too. So now we've got these different branches, and that's okay. We can merge from those branches in the future, right? If we want to. So we'll be able to do something with it. So here we're going back to that first canonical uh, Creative Haven image, which has the feeling of like the joys of creating and the Creative Haven. Okay, so the Moldau is just completed. So now, and I may have another couple minutes still. So I'm just going to put on uh, some harp music because it's kind of like heavenly. Okay, there we go. This is what we got. So that's using that first canonical Creative Haven image as the art style, the style reference. Like say we want to take this and then put it in another style. I'm going to do that right now. Get a high quality kind of cartoon one here, like that. Luma 9D, Luma with a Puma. Comes from a rhyme as well. Luma with a Puma. Someday, probably July 20th, when I came up with the, whatever, right? It's when I came up with the Three Idea Musketeers, these original rhymes of that. I did it totally offline when I brought a little bit of that, including Myrtle the Turtle, to ChatGPT. We had this rap battle showdown, like two uh, AIs battling on a pillar, and uh, and the rest is history. There, this is the robot, right? Yeah, because we changed house to robot. So now the house is becoming a robot, see? And so if you pick one of those and you do another variation, it should become more like a robot, right? And also there's the style reference. We could always update it as we go along. Or even an image prompt if you want. That has more influence. It's not just the style, it's the content. Okay, well, I'm gonna pick one of those. I'm going back to one of these earlier ones here. Yeah, it's actually kind of funny, but anyway, I'll go with that. Yeah, that's a strong remix, so it gave me the opportunity to change it at the time. So all I'm going to do is update the style reference to the image itself. We could do it with a different one too if we want. It's going to proliferate, right? We end up with more and more of them. These are, it's kind of cool. Maybe this thing should take off like a ship. Try that too. Okay, well, let's do that. Okay, so now it's a robot spaceship taking off. Taking up, it says. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. There. So now it's going to be taking off. That's the super simple style. I mean, super simple way of doing it. I'm just strong remixing it and just trusting it'll change like that. And then you can go multiple steps of, iterating the same thing and it will change, right? Another way would be to hit edit. So we got the prompt right here, right, with the typing done. If we go back to that and we just hit the button again, put that in there, and I'll do the same step, right? I'll use the same process, but I was going to use edit, right? I'm going to clip out the bottom part so that it's like off the ground already. Okay, so we got to paste in that prompt again. There we go. Okay, now can we do this? Whoops. Can we change the style reference to this image? I'm not sure. On there? Probably. I might need another tab to put it there because I can't drag this to there. Not if it's got this button going like that. What kind of art show is this? Now we're creating stuff. What are we doing? Oh yeah, right. So let's go like that. I'm only partially kidding. Okay. Okay, now I clicked the wrong button. Okay, right. So great. Here it is. All right, now I gotta go. Okay, my timer went off there. Okay, so what's the image? Which one are we on? Well, it's this one. Okay. We could have done that. Now, my point is, no, but that gets us into editing it again. That doesn't do me any good. Well, if it was this thing with saying jobs, then it should work, right? It'd be the same thing. So if I put that in here, then there it is, and I can drag it over there, right? Or you could click here first and then paste it, and then it would go there. Okay. So there, I did two different versions of it. Maybe I'll show you those in another show. Like after the interview, I could come back and we could look at them. I mean, it's already done it, but the ground is still ground. It didn't work, and that's fine. Now we could also do it by clipping it. If we cut out this part, right, then boom, we can just cut that out and then have it take off. We could even fill in the lower part with something else and then have it take off. But whatever, right? That's all I got time for now. So I'll see you again soon. But these are a couple of things with when we're changing it to a robot or we're changing it to a robot shaped spaceship, right? That came after. This is where it's just a robot. So you can see a few variations there, and that's good fun. And what if you want that one in another one of the styles that we had before? Well, you can totally do that. You want to make it fun, it's like this infinite playground thing. You want to make it uh, yeah, you want to make it like the first Creative Haven thing. Well, this is an evolution of it there, right? But maybe you want to make it like that first one. These are also good. You can do that. I'll just leave it there. Okay, thanks for watching. See you again soon. May peace be with you. And the force, right? Always the force. But that force is within. Never forget that.